Okay, I know you have something for me, so what is it? Just tell me. Just get to it.
It's just a little something from Universal.
So, tell me what you... Oh, wait. Did you say something from Universal? You mean like a monster movie? Like Wolfman?
Well, some would call him a monster, but it's not a movie.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know this was made by Universal.
Well, really it was made by Insomniac, and Universal funded it. It was only Insomniac's second game. The first was Disruptor, but Spyro was an explosion of popularity, selling almost 5 million copies worldwide, spawning 2 more sequels for the PS1. It's a 3D platformer starring a purple dragon that was meant to be moody yet fun-loving. You know, that weird, typical 90s mascot character.
That's enough talking about it, though. Let's pop this bad boy in and see if it still holds up.
This game starts differently than I remember. The dragons are being interviewed by someone, but then they start talking smack about this guy called Nasty Nork. Well, old Nasty ain't having it. He turns all the dragons into statues as payback for trash talking. But Spyro is spared, I assume due to his small size.
No wonder he's the bad guy, judging people by their looks. Dick.
Spyro is put to work right away. You have to release dragons by touching them. Some of them give you advice, like how enemies with metal can't be hurt with fire, and when to hit the X button to get the most distance from a jumping glide. This is also how you're introduced to your tiny friend, Sparks. He is a dragonfly that follows you around while acting as a health meter. Gold is full health, followed by blue and green. Then, when he isn't there and you get hit, you lose a life. While Spyro is running around trying to release all the dragons, there is a lot more to do. Exploring is a big part of this game for sure. There are a lot of gems hidden around every world, along with eggs and keys to unlock chests. One thing that shocked me most about this game is just how little Spyro is restricted. If you can see it in this game, you can almost always go there. For the time, that was unheard of. With all of the invisible walls games used to have, we were just used to being stopped. But Spyro gives you all sorts of room to travel. There are 6 worlds to explore, each just as interesting as the next. The way to get to these different worlds is by traveling in a hot air balloon. While in each world there are several portals to different levels. Each level has around 3 to 5 dragons to save on average, and around 500 gems to collect. The good thing about that is you don't have to do all of this if you don't want to. Spyro is only as hard as you make it, which both soothes young and experienced gamers. There are even flight challenges that are most definitely not for the faint of heart. They are pretty damn hard. And every world has different enemies that vary in difficulty and how they are taken down. All of the enemies match their surroundings in a fun or direct way. Which is where Spyro the Dragon shines. The humor is great. One of the bosses you fight turns out to be a sheep in a jack-o'-lantern costume. It is straight ridiculous, and I love it.
But as with every game, there are pros and cons, and Spyro is no different. Unfortunately.
As fun as Spyro is to play, it is just as hard to control. Immediately, you will have problems with the camera. For some reason, you can control Spyro himself with the left joystick, but not the camera with the right joystick. Nope. You have to control the camera with the shoulder buttons, which does not work at all. Countless times I fell off of a level or into a pool hurting Spyro just because the camera wouldn't freaking move. Then I couldn't see many enemies because they were just off screen. It is borderline insanity. Another thing that really bugged me was how extremely useless Sparks is. He is meant to pick up things as you walk by, but he only does it when he feels like it, I guess, because half of the time I would have to walk over gems twice to pick them up. So, Spyro has collected some gems, freed all the dragons, and beat up all the bosses, all but old Nasty Nork. Nasty has his own world, which you might think you're just gonna glide in there and lay down the smack. Well, not just yet. You have to complete 2 more levels before you get to Nasty North. They are a little shorter than the rest, but they have the hardest enemies. Sporting guns, grenades, and rolling barrels, these guys are no pushovers.
And I'm getting ready to play the final boss now, so spoiler warning to anybody that doesn't want to see that.
You're finally going to fight Nasty Nork, but once you get there, there's almost nothing to see. All you have to do is chase down 2 of the egg snatchers, and then you get to Nasty himself. That's when Spyro steals himself, ready for a mano-a-mano brawl to the death. Then the big baby just runs away. Well, you catch him just like everyone else, and you smoke him. It's super anticlimactic. Then it all ends with Spyro doing the interview. And if you didn't get everything, Spyro says there's still stuff to do. But if you collect all the gems, all the dragons, and go through a bonus stage, you get to see Spyro in glasses, saying it's all good, before you see 2 dragons in the background get changed into statues again.
Not too sure what that means. I'm sure it's just a lead into the sequel. But overall, the final boss in Spyro is kind of a disappointment. It's way too easy. I thought it needed to be harder. But Spyro is a classic 3D platformer that just hasn't aged as well as I thought it would. But I'm not saying it's a bad game by any stretch.
It's just the controls and the ending that show Spyro's age in an ugly, ugly light.
Again, I'm not saying this is a bad game. It's very lighthearted and filled with all sorts of stuff to find, like any good collectathon game. And it's easy enough for kids to be able to beat, but there are definitely challenging parts for adult gamers too.
The flight challenges give that extra difficulty spike to keep anyone entertained.
Truly, I am super stoked to get my hands on the remastered version that's getting ready to come out real soon. Because this is a fun 3D platformer that if you had better controls, it would become a classic that no 3D platformer fan should miss. But the PS1 version is going to score a 7 out of 10 because the controls hamper the play way too much for it to get any higher than that.
Oh, very informative.
Why, thank you, good sir.
Who are you talking to anyway?
Well, I guess to just whoever's listening.
But there's no one here.
Well, you know, whatever, man. I don't need this crap from you.
That's okay. I think I can find him someone to talk to.
Thanks again for stopping by and watching another one of my videos. If you enjoyed that, you can definitely watch another one there, or there. And just as a heads up, I got some exciting stuff coming up for Halloween. So keep an eye out for that, because it's going to be awesome. See ya.